Just wanted to give a quick reminder that I do stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can find the link in the description to that. With Blackwood just around the corner, some people may be playing the game for the first time, others may be starting a new character, but it's best to choose your character based on what class you'll be playing. Each race is set into its own alliance. So for the Daggerfall Covenant, you've got Breton, Orc, Redguard, and then the Old Merry Dominion, you've got High Elf, Wood Elf, Khajiit. Ebonheart Pact have Argonian, Dark Elf, and Nord. You will have to pay for the 10th race being Imperial, and the Imperial can fit into any alliance they choose. When you first start playing the game now, in 2021, you will have 5 of the 6 classes being Dragon Knight, Sorcerer, Nightblade, Templar, and Warden. Warden is now free because of it being part of the Morrowind expansion, which is the second expansion that came with the game, which is now free when you buy the game. The only class you will have to still pay for is the Necromancer, but that doesn't cost too many crowns. It's probably about £20, I think it is, or could be even less. But it is always best to probably base your race towards your class, because some races are better for certain classes. As in, you can get different attributes on each race that make them better suited for that class. I don't know, to be precise, what races are better for certain classes, but I can tell you the meta for the roles at the moment are Dark Elf for stamina DPS, High Elf for magic DPS, as they are more magic based characters, Breton for their sustain with magic and that sort of stuff for healers, and Nord for their sustain being tanks. The second tip I would give when starting out a new game would definitely be to deconstruct everything. Other than the main gear, the best gear you've got on you, deconstruct everything. And to deconstruct everything, you're going to want to come to a crafting bench and go to the third one along that says deconstruct. Because you are going to have a lot of gear that is actually going to be worthless. Because a lot of it is literally just going to give you 1, resources, and 2, it's going to help you level up stuff like blacksmithing, woodworking, clothing, jewellery, and enchanting. All having their respectable benches. And if you basically just deconstruct everything you get, soon enough they will all level up. So it's not the deconstructing one. Where's the enchanting one gone? Oh, enchanting can be found... Where can enchanting be found? There's a building somewhere around in Davon's Watch for the... Oh, it's this one. It's this one. The Singing Shards. That is where you can do the enchanting and, I believe, jewellery in there. But each city will have its own place for doing this. And by each city I mean Volkagard, Davon's Watch, and Daggerfall. And also tip 2 can lead into tip 3, and that is become certified with all the crafts. Because if you come to, there should be a board that says consumable crafting writs, which should have a mission on it, which will then lead you to one of two people, being Milanith and Daniel Telano. One of them can be found in the Fighters Guild, and the other one in the Mages Guild, depending on... Oh no, it wouldn't be depending on what city you're in, but no matter what city you're in, Volkagard, Davon's Watch, or Daggerfall, they can be found in those two buildings. And if you go to one of them, they will certify you in the respected crafts. And they will ask you to do a couple of things. So for blacksmithing, it's to craft an iron dagger, then... Oh no, it wouldn't be to craft an iron dagger first, it would be to find some iron, then to craft an iron dagger, then to deconstruct it, and then go back and talk to her. And it'll be the same for the other dude, Daniel Talano. He will also get you to do the same thing, go to like an ore vein, no, it wouldn't be an ore vein, but it'll be a runes thing for enchanting and that sort of stuff. And you can then do the respected stuff, and as soon as that is done, you can then be certified in the 6 main crafts. You're probably wondering right now, I've just told you how you can do 6 of the 7 crafts and get writs for them, but I haven't told you the one for jewellery. That's because the one for jewellery is part of the Summerset Isles DLC. So if you do have that DLC, you can travel to Somerset and go to Alanor, the main like capital of the place, and find... Where is he? He is... Valerian, who is just outside the main crafting hall in the city. You can find him here underneath this tree, and he will then make you certified in jewellery, meaning you can gain inspiration from it, leveling up a bit quicker, and also get the chance to craft better stuff, and also on the daily get stuff like you would from the other writs, such as materials, and also things that are like intricate and ornate to sell. Tip number 4 would have to be, don't spend your money. Because money, even though it's sometimes easy to come by, it's not something you need to be spending during the first half of the game from level 1 to level 50, champion point level 160. There is no reason to have to actually spend money. It seems weaponsmiths, they only basically sell you basic weapons. They're not even selling you like good weapons. Armorers, no good armor. And then tailors, they're not even selling anything enchanted or anything good. You will always find better gear on dead enemies, which you can then go through tip 2 and deconstruct and also use yourself. So any like ornate stuff you can sell, because you're not going to actually need that because, well, it's ornate stuff. You get more money for selling it. The only thing you need to do with money is make it. Because when you get to level 50 CP 160, you can then start, or from the very beginning of the game actually, you can start trading within guilds. But half the gear you're going to be getting before CP 160 level 50, you're not actually going to be able to sell because no one's going to want it unless you have been farming for gear sets that are actually wanted and are part of builds like Mother Sorrow and other stuff like that. So at the end of the day, don't spend your money on worthless stuff from armorers and that sort of stuff. The only time you should be spending money is when you're doing your daily writs, and then you are having to get style items. Because after a while you will run out of the much needed, if I can find it, style material. Stuff like flint, obsidian, and so on. Anything that's based for the style of armor, weapons, that sort of stuff. You will need those so you can complete daily writs. Tip number 5 is actually kind of an obvious one, and that is always complete your dailies, whether it be writs or whether at level 10, when you get to level 10, you can start doing dungeons. They are going to be a good source of XP. Seems your daily one, so the first one you do a day, if it says a premium undaunted exploration supplies, it can give you quite a lot of XP. So for me at the moment, it's giving me 101k XP for me doing it. Your daily writs, you basically just come to your certified blacksmithing area, do the writs, hand them in, and you'll also get inspiration from it, so that you can then, I'll show you, if you head over and hand it in, you head over to the docks or wherever it is that you have to hand it in, depending on what city you're in, you can end up getting, for example, you can turn it in and it will give you inspiration, and at the moment while it's going on you can also get a Jubilee event crate, which can give you style pages, which if you've already unlocked you can sell on to guild merchants so that people could buy them and that sort of stuff. And you can also, from level 45 onwards, do daily undaunted missions which can give you keys depending on which version you do. Let's say you do veteran ones. If you do the veteran hard mode at the end, so the final boss will be harder than normal, you can get 2 keys from it, and the keys are then used to get the shoulders for monster sets, which you can use those keys to buy crates which give you a 50% chance of getting the set you're looking for from that crate. We're nearly at the end here, but we have tip number 6 now. And tip number 6 is join the NPC guilds, meaning join the Undaunted, Fighters Guild, and Mages Guild, because they all have their own respected skill line. Because the Fighters Guild has their own passives as well, and also quite a useful ability, which is Trap Beast, which basically allows you to put down a trap on the floor if the enemy goes into it. It deals some damage and also gives you minor force, which increases your critical damage for 10% for the duration as long as it lasts on them. And you can also get the mages ones, which level up by you finding the lore books that are around, and the main ability, the ultimate ability, which unlocks at level 10, so you have to pretty much find every lore book in the game, which can take quite a while. It's taken me about 3 days to do so far on another character, but that is used in quite a lot of magicka-based builds. And you'll also need the passives to back it up if you're doing magicka-based builds. You will also want to make sure that you have the Undaunted skill line unlocked, because you can end up improving, like, just in general, your actual, like, attributes in, like, max health, stamina, and that sort of stuff, depending on what armor set you have. And you'll also be able to have Undaunted command, which activates the synergy and restores 4% of max health and stamina and magicka. And both of these passives have 2 slots, so you kind of need it at level 10 to get the most out of it. I did forget to say with the last tip, tip 6, with the Undaunted quests and everything, to do the Undaunted dailies, you have to be level 45, and also go into the Undaunted skill line, you have to find 3 people, but you only have to find one of them in each area, depending on which alliance you went with at the start. So in Volkagard, you have to find Turek Redclaws. I believe he can be found in the tavern, which is just behind me in that direction there, next to the docks. In Glen Umbra, I believe it's going to be in Daggerfall, you can find Mighty Mondra, or Mordra, I think, Mordra. She can also be found in a tavern. And then in Davon's Watch, you have to find Chaostig the Axe. And he might be a little bit harder to find because he is down in the docks in the tavern down there. And they will send you on 1 mission each, or not each, but once you've done it for one of them, you wouldn't have to do it for any of the others. But they will send you on 1 mission to do 1 dungeon, which to do dungeons you have to get to level 10 first. So when you get to level 10, you can then do normal randoms. Normal veterans, I think, unlocks later, but they will send you on one of the first couple, I believe. But I think it's mainly stuff like Spindle Clutch, the Banished Cells, and Darkshade Caverns, I think it is. One of those 3 they will send you on. I do have one final tip. Tip 7 is find a crafter. On a game like this, on an MMO, there are normally people nice enough to craft you gear. If you ask, someone may actually craft you some training gear. And by training gear, I mean gear that has the trait, where is it? Training. So it will actually give you an experience boost straight off the bat. So if you have a whole gear set of that, that's going to help you level up and be able to do the higher level content a little bit quicker. Meaning you can get to level 50, CP 160 quick. And meaning you can then farm for your build and be able to play the end game content a lot sooner rather than later. And there are a lot of people that are actually nice enough. You just have to basically go to the chat, select zone, and type in, "Can someone make me some training gear, please?" Then put in brackets what level you are and what set you'll need, like light, heavy, medium. And some people even go specific enough to actually ask you like the traits you want on the gear, because there are different like set bonuses you can get on gear which can help you. There are lower level ones because some of them require very little crafting, but a lot of stuff you will have to have part of sets, because sets are the main way of being strong in the game. Before I do end, I do have one final tip, but this tip is more mainly aimed for PC players, and that tip is to download add-ons, because a lot of add-ons can help you with the game. Basically, I will drop a link in the description to the add-ons I do have, because I don't have a list of the add-ons I have, but you can see the ones I've got here. So the main ones I've got are account settings. So that basically saves the settings I have on one character and spreads it across every character I have. Action duration reminder basically puts a little timer on the ability I use to tell me when it's going to run out, when I should cast it again. Alpha gear basically puts a percentage on the gear I use. For example, each piece of gear has a duration, or not duration, but has a basically how much damage it can take before it breaks. And alpha gear basically just puts a percentage on that, tells me, like in the bottom corner I have my two daggers, it tells me they've got 94 and 95% left before the charge on them runs out. The next one I do have is auto recharge, and that basically repairs gear and charges gear. Basically it does everything it says in the name, so it basically auto repairs the gear and auto charges enchantments. So if an enchantment runs out on a weapon, it automatically recharges it for me as long as I've got the soul gems on me or the repair kits on me. Auto category basically sorts my inventory into stuff like containers, selling, low level, deconstructing, poisons, quick slots, consumables, and everything like that. The next one I do have is Azura. Basically allows me to move everything around. So the HUD I can move around all by myself, because that's not in the base game, which I find a bit weird. Then I have Bandit's UI, which basically is how my UI is laid out. So you've got all health and everything in one place, which you can then sort. If I go into settings a second, I can show you. It basically allows you to move the frames, choose where everything is. Then you got player frames. You got how you want it set out. So I've got the Bandits vertical, so that all my health and everything is vertically set out there. Also shows you in the bottom corner the buffs you have, how long your potions and food and drink will last for. Another good add-on I've got is daily alchemy and daily provisioning, along with lazy writs creator. So basically does all my writs for me even if I don't know the recipe yet. The next good one I've got is map pins. Basically puts on the map where sky shards are and lore books are, which can come in handy rather well. There's also Tamriel Trade Center, which basically saves you having to keep going to your web browser to search how much an item is going to cost. It will, if you hover over it, tell you if it's on the market, how much it's going to cost. So it will have underneath it, TTC suggests between 134 to 168. It also shows the average of how much it goes for, how many items are listed like that, which is actually a really helpful thing because it helps me decide what I'm going to put things on for. And then you've also got Votan's keybinder, which saves all your keybinds from one character across all your characters. I want to thank everyone for watching, and this has been a guide, tips guide on how to start the ESO Right in 2021. I want to thank everyone for watching. If this video has helped you, you can drop a like down below. It does show me